Okay, now it is. Now it is.
Okay.
So I am sitting here with Sari and Susie from Bread and Roses Food Co-op, and they've been running here in this location off of Gain Street, Tallahassee, since October of 2013. How are you guys doing today?
Good, thank you.
Well,
All right. What made you decide to open up your own business?
Well, Wild Greens closed, and we got the message like midnight, and then came in the next day, and everything was gone. So, in a freak out, shock moment, we're like, what are we gonna do?
Mhm.
So, I suggested we go under the wing of the co-op and just be part of the co-op and have the cafe
open a
here.
cafe.
Nice.
Yeah,
I
it
remember
was-
when you guys opened it. It smells great. By the way.
Thanks.
What was the inspiration to start up your business?
It was we both worked at a restaurant, and then the owner declared bankruptcy and abandoned her stuff here, and it was just like this crazy stress opportunity. Where it was like, and it was always, Sarah had like a 5-year plan to open up her own place, but it just kind of fell into our lap, and then we got to buy equipment for super cheap, and
Nice. We don't have to name any names. Hold on. I just lost it. How did you decide on your legal business structure, such as proprietorship, or I guess your corporation wouldn't really apply?
yeah. Well, we didn't have the funds to, become an LLC or anything, and we don't really, so we didn't have like the startup funds to do that. So basically, we joined with a co-op because we can use their business or under their business license.
Oh, all right.
And under the Department of Agriculture, which they already have that license as well. So it
Mhm.
saved us like.
So since this was already like a running kitchen, you didn't really need to apply for. You didn't need to change too much to.
No.
Cool.
It just became a department
Of bread and
under
roses.
Bread and Roses.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we
Sweet.
just added PLUs and,
Yeah.
just sort
What's
of
a
see-
PLU?
see- It's a
Like a product number, so you can like when you scan when you scan
Oh,
a
okay.
product.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So then, it just kind of went in seamlessly. They're just like they're ringing up any other products, they're ringing up our products.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of like we're expected to, come up with like a certain amount of rent,
Mhm.
and pay, our portion of
Yeah.
utilities, and then
Sounds almost like sort of like how a franchise works, I guess. Like, like if a McDonald's or something opens up, it's already licensed under McDonald's name, I guess, or
right.
so there isn't really too much that has to go into like zoning or anything like
Yeah.
that. Well, that's great. How much time, money, and planning did it take before deciding to open up a business?
Well, because of like our really bizarre situation,
Yeah.
we were basically trying to scrabble together as fast as we could to reopen,
Mhm.
so we could just get, people.
There's a state of
Coming in still.
urgency because we wanted the same customers coming in.
Yeah.
We're selling basically the same products. We've changed just a couple things.
Mm.
We've tapered down the menu a lot, but so
Cool.
we still
Yeah.
have the same customers because we're in the same neighborhood.
I remember
Yeah.
when you guys opened up, and it was. I mean, you're right. Like, if this place was closed for too long, then it
People
wouldn't be
would-
the same client
yeah.
base, and it'd be completely different. It probably was.
Yeah, it was like because we were starting with such a small amount of capital, we had no money for advertising whatsoever. So
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
key to reopen like as quickly as
Our friend gave us
possible.
a $500 investment for our first grocery
Nice.
run, and we've been running on that since.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you seem like you've been doing really good. I mean,
Yeah,
this
it's
seems
like
like kind of
9
a
months in.
transitory part of town where there's a lot of businesses opening and closing
Yeah.
a lot. What's that place where Pool Cow and Fat Sandwich used to be now?
Where it smells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys been there? I haven't
Yeah.
either.
I can smell it. It smells like.
I'm
bacon
interested
and
to
tater
see
tots.
how long that place keeps open because, like, I mean, Fat Sandwich was good and it was there for a long time, but eventually it closed down. Pool Cow wasn't there for that long at all.
Yeah, restaurants are pretty rough, definitely. you
Yeah.
know.
Well, it says how'd you go about finding a location for this business, but you've already said that. And
Circumstantial.
obviously, you guys are pretty
Yeah.
good. This is prime location, totally. And you obtained your startup capital with the $500 that you got the groceries from your friend.
Yeah.
how do you advertise and promote your business?
We flyered campus before. It's pretty much word of mouth for the most part.
Yeah.
We throw benefits, so the parties that we throw on First Fridays are announced on B89, so that's something.
Yeah. When everybody's coming down for Railroad Square, like art, having something going on in here makes people be like, what is
Yeah.
that?
I mean, as a
Yeah.
reputable local business, it's pretty easy, or I guess it'd be more sustainable as a word of mouth kind of thing than it.
Yeah.
I mean, than other places. It's not like, I don't know, somewhere that's not as personal. I feel like this is like a really personal, community-based restaurant where, kind of like how Sweet Pea or All Saints is, you know.
Yeah.
All Saints is always going to be there. You know, they're never going to have ads on TV or, you know,
No,
flyers and
there's
stuff like
there's
that.
no
Definitely-
billboard off of I-10.
It's,
Yeah.
it's an institution in Tallahassee.
Yeah. Well, you guys have a website on your Facebook, and if you just have a Facebook, then sure, you guys
We have
just
Facebook
maintain
and
it.
Instagram. Yeah, on Facebook we put our specials.
Mhm.
We have
Yeah.
events. We started doing a story hole,
What's that?
which is storytelling nights every
Oh,
third
cool.
Wednesday. So
That's
that
awesome.
that brings people in that I've never even seen step
Yeah.
foot in here before, just out of curiosity of.
That's awesome that you guys are having like different things like that, because I mean,
Yeah.
you have the music and shows and stuff every once in a while, and
Mhm.
there's not. I mean, I know that the Warehouse has story night or whatever, something like that, and I mean that's pretty cool. Cool if
Yeah.
you guys have like a theater night or something too.
We might have a comedy night in August.
A comedy night would be
so-
pretty fun.
I did a
yeah.
drag show here one Friday.
Really?
Yep. I
All-
wish you could have seen that.
We're doing a comedy night too. It's gonna the next First Friday. We're not doing 4th of July, obviously.
Why?
Because everyone's gonna be out of town.
Oh,
Memorial
yeah.
Day was a flop. We decided to
We're
close
just,
for
it's
4th
not
of
worth
July.
it.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do one on August 1st, and there's gonna be comedians that start the lineup and then have music. So.
Nice. Well, I'd asked to be a stand-up comedian, but I don't think I'm that funny.
I don't know. You could just do your guitar act. That was pretty fun.
Thanks. I appreciate it. I'm very sorry about that.
No, everyone laughed.
Anyways, let's go on this interview.
There might be footage of that you can like.
I'm glad everybody had a really good laugh. What are the licensing requirements for here? I mean, you obviously have to maintain
yeah.
a certain standard of
Right.
cleanliness
Well,
and
we're under the Department of Agriculture because we're a part of the co-op, which was
Mhm.
part of like why it was really cool to attach ourselves to the co-op. So,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so the health inspector comes and checks, makes sure everything's up to temperature and clean. We did have to add this consuming raw undercooked meats, poultry, which is funny because like eggs are the only thing on there.
yeah, I was about to
but-
say, what kind of like meat or poultry do you
Yeah.
think you have very much?
Actually, there's
Yeah.
some kind of contract that the Bread and Roses Food Cooperative has that there isn't allowed to be any animal products.
Yeah, and Bread and Roses Food Cooperative is a non
Animal
nonprofit.
products or meat? Because I mean, eggs are an animal product. And,
Yeah, I guess byproducts are okay, but not actual.
yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I
Livestock.
mean,
Yeah, but Bread and Roses is a nonprofit. So we are a nonprofit as well.
Mhm.
So we do all of our accounting through Bread and Roses
Cool.
and all that.
I'm sure there's
Finances.
probably a lot different safety precautions when you actually have meat in your kitchen. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's,
don't-
it's all
yeah.
the same standards, but obviously it just makes everything a lot easier. You know, like we never have to worry about like what cutting board we're really using unless
Yeah.
we're doing eggs. You
Mhm.
know, and that's like it and all that.
I couldn't imagine using a cutting board too much for eggs, but
Yeah,
I see what
well,
you're. No, I see what you're saying.
yeah.
Though. Like,
We have quiche and frittatas. That
I
would do
do
for
love
that.
some quiche. Let's see here. So, do you use any information technology to help with your business? I mean, you guys have Facebook and Instagram,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much how you market too. Well,
Mhm.
advertise. I guess you probably don't have too much theft in here. You can't really go back in the kitchen, make yourself something, and leave. But I mean, they also have a grocery store attached to this kitchen. And
Yeah.
do you guys ever? Well, I mean,
I don't.
I see you guys
I think
kind of having a
we-
light part if somebody's
yeah,
trying to steal
yeah.
something, like in terms
We-
of food.
We have, some guidelines to follow if someone's stealing something, but
Mhm.
for the most part, there's a really good clientele that come in here.
Yeah.
And even days that the co-op hasn't opened, there's been like an honor system where people will just leave their money and like,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
and
really
it's
cool.
We don't really have to worry about either of us, like,
Right.
you know, with like the register and all that. Since
Yeah.
we're,
Yeah,
like,
being,
both the
being that there's two
co-owners.
of us, it'd be really easy
Yeah,
to
and
point the
we're
blame.
both invested. Yeah. Yeah, we're not gonna try and run away to Mexico with like $100. That's probably right.
Yeah.
So.
Empty the register out of the $27 you got in here. How do you select potential employees that you trust? I mean, that's pretty much goes without saying.
I mean, it's mostly just been like our roommates, you know,
Yeah,
our friends,
just roommates and
people,
friends
you know,
and-
that aren't, you know, terrible people, basically.
So if somebody comes in here from out of town or something, they hand in a job application, you're just gonna throw it on the girl.
I mean, I'm pretty honest. Like, with the whole point of how we have this place structured is so like no matter what, Sarah and I can run it by ourselves. So
Yeah.
it's like if anybody just walks in, it's like we're not hiring.
Yeah.
Because we can't. But hopefully one day we'll be there. But
Yeah, I mean,
not yet.
that's
I
another
guess
thing.
all of those apartments down Gain Street are already rented out for the fall, so we're just gonna like flyer all of them, offer like free drinks if
Yeah.
people come in, just so people will come in and check. So that's like one advertising.
Yeah, we're gonna do like a
Sure, sure,
coupon
we'll get that
thing.
A
for
what?
Fall. We're gonna have like a free drink coupon.
Oh, sweet.
Like flyer thing.
Awesome.
We're
How
gonna,
do you?
We're gonna have patches too.
And
Yeah,
patches,
you guys will have patches.
Mhm.
Remind me of that. I'll remind myself, but I
Okay.
gotta put it on the screen first, and then.
Like,
Anyways, how do you decide among interested family members who play a role in the business? I don't really know what that means.
We don't really have any family members in our business, so
Yeah.
it's not,
Susie's dad was a chef, so
that's where I get all my skills.
Oh, well, it says, were you hesitant working with family members? Were you hesitant working with your dad when he was teaching you how to cook?
No.
I know that I was pretty hesitant when my dad was teaching me how to drive. That sucked.
No. One time I did have to like devein like 100 pounds of shrimp for a wedding, and that was
I
horrible.
hate deveining
And there
shrimp.
wasn't enough orange soda in the world to make it right.
I usually
That
don't
was-
do
That
it.
was like the worst.
I mean, I know it's really gross, but usually when I'm cooking shrimp, I just like, it's fine.
it's
Yeah.
easier to take out after it's cooked. It's just
Yeah.
as
I
gross
just-
as,
I
like,
just
it's
don't
been
even deal
there.
with
You
it.
can't really do that if it's like. Kind
It's
of, like,
just a
big,
little poop.
fat,
I mean, in
juicy
some cultures, that's
brain.
a delicacy.
Yeah.
I mean, you can
Not
eat
in-
lobster poop.
Just like eating mushrooms.
Yeah, mushrooms are great. Or crabs, like. I like how I'm talking to you about this after we just had the question of no meat in the kitchen or anything. But if you guys did want to start serving crabs, I might come here a little bit more. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Maybe our next endeavor.
Yeah.
A seafood, Sari and Susie's seafood.
Well, I love shrimp and grits, and I love fish tacos. So.
I'm not the biggest fan of grits, but I do like shrimp and I do like tacos. I love seafood. I do love seafood.
Yeah, that's the only meat I eat too.
If you guys open up a seafood restaurant, I would totally be there. What
Right,
company incentives do you offer to your employees?
Well, they get a free shift meal.
Cool.
That's
Yeah, we had bike delivery, which was voluntary, but the cyclists got to keep their tips, get a shift meal.
Yeah.
Helping out with the dishes is always nice, but it's not expected.
Yeah.
And basically, you get to hang out in the air conditioning and use the internet here and
Yeah.
socialize.
I mean, this is a co-op and a great restaurant, great business that you guys are maintaining. So I think a company incentive enough would just be working here.
Yeah. It's a good place to hang out.
How has owning a business affected your family? They're probably pretty proud.
yeah. Well, my parents thought I was crazy, and they're like, I think everybody like thought it was gonna fail, but they're proud.
I mean, there is a.
Which there's a good chance. Like, I mean, I
Yeah.
was 50-50 whether we were
There's a
gonna.
very high percentage of small
Yeah.
businesses, especially restaurants, that don't succeed, and that's really awesome that you guys are making this place work.
Yeah, I mean, my family doesn't live in town, but they've been supportive. But I think mostly it's like community supported. Like, honestly, the first couple benefits
Yeah.
were keeping us afloat.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And also, it seems like you guys don't have too high of an overhead, so,
Yeah.
and it's nonprofit, so there's not too much pressure to rake in like a bunch of money all the time or anything like that.
Yeah.
What kind of day-to-day things do you have to do in terms of, I mean, you open your restaurant up in the morning,
Yeah.
prep all your stuff, and
Yeah, I usually get here at like 7:30 or 8, and because I make the bread, and do like the quiche or soup, and then Sari comes in and she does, I don't know.
Prep the line.
We
make
do
the
everything.
Sauces, yeah.
Yeah, and then we do the dishes after we do all that, and then we do the accounting. And
what is that? No, I don't know if
We
you
do
guys...
the ordering,
It
Pretty
reminds me
much
of that...
everything to keep a business.
Yeah.
What's that car commercial? I don't know.
Running.
They have it on the radio all the time. It's
Like
like
the
two
Wello.
brothers or something. One of them's like, I come in late and stay early or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
come in late and leave early. And I'm like, why is that a good thing for a commercial? Like, I don't know. If I'm buying a car, I hope that you're there early and I hope that you're
It's
staying
nice 'cause
late.
the co-op, for like the accounting, like Justin does help us with it.
Yeah.
He does like the sales tax for like the whole.
So you guys
store,
have an
we don't
accountant to deal with all of your...
Not really. It's just Justin.
Yeah,
doing-
Justin Pogge
Justin
helps a
Pogge
lot
does.
because he does the finances at the co-op. He runs Sweet Pea. He runs
Mhm.
Old Field, so he just
Yeah.
he has the
He
legal
does, yeah.
know-how. He's more business minded, so we trust him too.
Yeah.
Justin Pogge is another entrepreneurship in town that owns Sweet Pea down on Tharp, and he makes really sweet bike frames with Old Fields. Alright, we're almost done. What is it that makes you feel your business is a success? I think we've already kind of gone over that with having the gratification of being able to work with each other and knowing that you've made it, and being in a really sweet part of town, having a good community to support this place.
That we're not in debt and we're 9 months in is, I think, good.
That
yeah,
is
we're
awesome.
operating with zero debt, and we're making enough.
We can pay
to where-
ourselves a little bit.
Do you think
we
maybe
can live
that's...
off of it.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe that's why? What was I gonna say? Do you
Most
think,
businesses fail.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's because
definitely.
like of the debt that they just can't get out of. Even if they are like being successful and having clients and having customers,
Yeah.
it's just like so hard to swim
Yeah,
out of
but
that
if you
hole.
borrowed a bunch of money to,
Yeah.
you'll never catch up. And
Yeah,
And it creates more stress, and people sometimes just can't mentally handle
hmm
that much stress.
I heard yesterday. I don't know. I read it yesterday on the internet that that show Kitchen Nightmares with Chef Gordon Ramsay.
Oh yeah, half of
and
the
he-
restaurants fail.
Yeah, and he tried to fix all those restaurants, and it was 60% of them failed. You can't just go into a restaurant as a successful chef and be there for filming for a week and then expect that business to just be okay. It's the people that work there and stuff.
Yeah. I'll go.
I'm sorry. What was the worst experience you had since you've been here?
I wouldn't even say it was the worst experience. It ended up being a blessing in disguise, actually. But the floors started ripping up because it was made for a retail space originally, because the fermentation had their beer and wine store
Oh,
running out
okay.
of
I was
here.
thinking about that this morning, and I was talking to Nick earlier, and I was like, what is the wine store that's right next to Bread and Roses? And I guess it was
Yeah.
here.
Are you talking about the spontaneous combustion of the towels?
Oh no, that was probably
Sounds like
a
another
better one.
So I'd like to hear about the spontaneous combustion about
But anyway,
towels.
so the floor wasn't used to being mopped every day, which we do, so
Oh,
it
right.
started busting out. So we had to pull it all out, and then there ended up being this piece of cement in the middle of the floor, and then we got Stephen Shrewsbury to make a banner out of it, and it just
Oh, nice.
now it looks very welcoming. But
Yeah, it does.
yeah, I guess the thing that was more hazardous to our health would be that we were washing our own linens before we got a service, before we could afford a service to do it.
Yeah.
So Susie was washing them at home, but we didn't know. And we've been told that other people have done the same thing, starting their restaurants.
Yeah.
Where at Mockingbird it happened to her, that when you put a pile of clean towels that have chemicals and they're still hot, then it just starts smoking. And I went in the back room to grab some produce, and I was just like, what in the world is it's deadly. It's
Were you
that-
boiling them, or
No, they just spontaneously combusted. So I
you see,
I
you had a pile of dish rags with chemicals on them, and
that
they
were
just
just smoking from the inside. They started smoldering.
that's crazy. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, we didn't either. So I just ran them outside, threw them outside. We opened all the doors. We closed for the rest of the day, and that was the only day actually that we unintentionally closed.
In my 10 years of working in restaurants, I have never seen towels spontaneously combust. That's a story.
Yeah.
That is a good answer to that question. If you could change one thing about the way you operate your business, what would you change?
That's a really hard question.
I think you
I
guys are
couldn't
doing
answer
great.
that
Like
pretty.
it seems like
I'd have to think about it.
Seems like you're in a pretty perfect place, and if you have to think about a question like that, then there probably isn't an answer.
Right.
What's the best advice that you could give to me starting out a business if I wanted to start a restaurant?
I just say that you have to put your whole heart in it, and it has to be all you kind of do. It's like your baby, and if you treat it like your baby and tend to it, it'll mature
And
nicely.
it'll love you back.
Yeah.
You want to say anything else about it? You want to put a plug in?
Plug in. I don't know. I think everyone should try it. I think it's the healthiest food, most bang for your buck as far as prices go. We try to do as local and organic as possible to ensure a healthy lifestyle. So unlike Sweet Pea, where they're kind of like a just vegan restaurant, we try to like put emphasis on health food.
Cool. Awesome. Well, once again, this is Bread and Roses Food Co-op, and this is Sari, and that was Susie. Thank you very much. Appreciate
Sorry.
it.